Last year, I think, was really when we started to see this movement towards a multicultural homecoming. It was successful. We wanted to capitalize on that and continue to build on it, and I can tell you, I can see more of a groundswell.
What I want to do really quickly is just have all the alum in the room, their name, what they majored in, what they do for a career.
I'm a civil engineer for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
I work for JP Morgan Chase Bank in Chicago as a risk management associate.
Like you want to teach and you're over 21 and you want to go to Spain or you want to go to France or Italy, come see me because I have a job for you.
I actually came to the university through one of its first diversity programs called the 5-year program. When I came on campus, it was civil rights, Black Power, women's movement, Vietnam. So it was really a tumultuous time in society as well as on campus. So people had different types of experiences at that time versus now.
Homecoming actually is a great opportunity to get a better understanding of the concept Alma Mater. So Alma Mater translates to old mother. And when you think about your mother, you often think about going home and what that means on special holidays. And institutions simulate that with homecoming. It's a special time for you to come home.
It's very nice to see people of different races back in one spot. While I was here, it wasn't too diverse. Mostly the people on the football team or sports in general was the most diverse thing that you could really get on the campus. But now seeing everyone back and seeing all the connections that can be made, it makes you really feel proud of the alma mater.
I went to MIT for undergraduate. MIT doesn't have homecoming or things of that nature, so this whole environment, especially multicultural homecoming, is all really new to me.
I've studied in 2 different universities in Spain, and we don't have such a thing. And I really enjoy watching all the atmosphere, how the people have the same feeling for the Badgers, no? Like the thing is like Wisconsin, and I think that you can feel that atmosphere. So I think it's very nice at the same time, and it's very welcoming.
Journalism and reporting, so I'm fresh about the water. It's deep up in the struggle.
I'm just happy that I can still walk in the room and feel like I'm at home. Like, I just talked to Patrick Sims at the table. He was just like, they ain't got rid of you yet? Like, older people see me like, we ain't done with you yet? I'm like, no, I'm just lingering in the background, but yeah, like, I feel like I'm at home. It's difficult to feel like you're at home sometimes when you're here, when you look like I do, you look like my friends.
I think there are a lot of students here that didn't have this space for specifically their career ambitions that now they do.
This multicultural event means a lot to me, and I think when you think about a multicultural homecoming, that the idea of having that family reunion, when you look at the folks who come back who are part of those experiences, reminds us of how important our work is. And so, you know, having some special attention, really focusing on our alumni of color in this intentional way, I think is critical to the long-term success of the university, and also reminds our students of the broader impact the university can have. You know, the things that we call the Wisconsin idea is in action through diversity.
There is a disparity that exists, and when are we going to acknowledge it and face it? And I feel like a lot of people think all because you made it to an institution that it goes away. You know, I made it to MIT, so therefore I'm just as prepared for the students who had private tutors and went to the #1 private schools in the country, and that's just not the case. If we're being honest, that's not the case. Yes, I earned a degree. Does that mean that I had access to the same materials that the people who I was competing against had? No. Does that mean I had to work twice as hard to get everything that they had? Yes.
I can see a lot of point of views that people have about having a multicultural homecoming. Like, first of all, like, why do we have to have one? But then also I understand that a lot of students of color don't feel like they belong here, and sometimes they don't even consider themselves Badgers. I know that's something that I've struggled with personally, of claiming myself as to be a Badger.
So how do we help shape and define what it means to be a Badger? You know, that's the $1 million question I think any institution struggles with.
With this being a multicultural event, I think that it's very important for people like myself to get involved into the community events and stuff. Coming here, I didn't really see much diversity, so events like this are definitely helpful for us to get our voice out and just talk to alumni and just have great connections.
I just want to highlight what I've been up to. I've been here for a year. I want to highlight, has anyone heard about Virgil Abloh coming to campus? Okay. I've been in conversations with Virgil since March of this year. It was a team effort. As a matter of fact, one of our key alums, DJ Hines, who was in Milwaukee, he was a key partner with helping us internally to bridge that gap with Virgil and to make that relationship transition into the t-shirts that you see different staff and alum wearing with the stripes on the back. They're at the bookstore. The proceeds will go towards scholarships for our students. So he went from being an alum that we knew we had out in the world to someone who's very engaged. And he came back with his roommate, Gabriel Stolman, who is also high profile in New York. He has 6 restaurants. And our Red Talks, we typically speak to about 100, 120 students, if I'm not mistaken. Yesterday, we had a registration of 760 people.
When you diversify with individuals and groups and socioeconomic status that may not have normally been a part of the fabric of the organizational culture, you do have to find ways to allow groups to connect and become a part of the organizational culture going forward.
It's part and parcel for the campus at large. You don't think about it if you're a majority or a white student, but if you're a minority student, it's something you kind of think about every day. And so how we bring those experiences to the forefront and say, yes, this is a space for you just as much as anybody else.
As a textile and fashion design student, seeing like a Wisconsin alum actually being in the fashion industry and doing what they're passionate about is really exciting. And I think it's a really unique opportunity to have that chance to talk to someone from Wisconsin who's out there actively doing it.
I'm really interested in what Gabriel does and his success story. I've been really interested in learning how to break into the industry and what's the best way to go about it to start out, either if I need to go to culinary school or if I need to just start out as a dishwasher.
I want to introduce one of our guests of honor, Virgil Abloh.
Virgil Abloh, I graduated in 2003 with a degree in civil engineering. I went on to go to Illinois Institute of Technology in Chicago to get a master's in architecture, and then just jumped into the real world. What I learned is that, the background in education is only just a format. Once you hit the real world, you can then craft it and basically finesse what you want to do for the rest of your life. So as a segue to Gabe, who was my roommate at Ogg East when it still existed. The essential to the UW as a backbone was running into kids like that.
Hi, my name is Gabriel Stolman. I graduated in 2003 with a double major in history and political science. I grew up in Northern Virginia, and for the last 13 years since graduation, I live in New York. What I do for a living is I try to focus as much of my time and energy building teams, creating visions and dreams and communities through the medium of hospitality. And it's really amazing to me, all these years later, I sit in awe of my very dear friend. We were best men at each other's weddings. We got little ones now. And I'm very lucky that you guys think it's worth listening to me. So, thanks.
I'm a huge fan of the leader of the Red Talk, Virgil Abloh. He's the maker of these shirts right here.
Virgil, I am so excited that you're here back at UW-Madison during homecoming. I wanted to ask you about the limited edition Virgil Abloh red shirt that you created.
It's my favorite sort of genre of design, but we figured out a way to use t-shirts as the vehicle to do a unique type of scholarship. And I'm looking to sort of give a thumbs up to a kid that was striving for what they were told to be, but weren't meeting that, we're meeting another criteria that showed drive.
Homecoming is this magical moment, and there's something about going back to the basics, sort of being recharged or rejuvenated in the space that launched you on your career path, and making those connections explicit and tangible for folks so they're not just these kind of amorphous or abstract concepts. Seeing other people who look like you, who understand your lived experience, that is something we don't see it as often as I'd like in targeted minority communities. And to the extent that we can shape that and provide that experience for our alumni of color, doggone it, we're gonna do it. So I'm glad to be a part of it.
I'm here today because I got a little email saying that Virgil Abloh and Gabriel Stillman are on their way back here. So I'm like, okay, that's like 1 degree from Kanye. All right, I will be there. I'm there.
What's up, Madison is looking live tonight. Oh man, I see you doing. Hey, thanks for coming out, man. That's a real good one.
Had the extreme pleasure to listen to Virgil and Gabriel's talk about their successes in life, and they defined it. They defined success. It really just goes to show that as long as you have that passion, you can push past literally anything. I love talking to younger people, especially kids who have passions of running or going to college, because I really feel as though I can be that almost ambassador to the truth for them.
I think Wisconsin in particular, because the Badger experience is so iconic, and over 400,000 living alumni, there is something powerful about being part of that community. At the same time, there is also something incredibly alienating if you aren't tapped into or plugged into the thing that makes everybody so excited about it.
As the University of Wisconsin, we pride ourselves in being the first and being pioneers and being mavericks at taking the initiative in a lot of efforts.
I tell these young men and young women all the time, I've been 17, 18, 19, and 21. You haven't been 37. So there are some things that as alumni that we can help with, and we can teach you, we can help guide you and mold you and help crystallize those visions.
I think in multiculturalism and racism and seeking out opportunities to balance that and have those conversations, we've kind of fallen back. So the more events that we're possible to make happen here on campus, the more I think we'll have these conversations of race, the more times I think we'll be able to be truly multicultural, where every color in the room, not just minority color, where every color in the room can come together and not see anything but Badger red.
Given the environment with shrinking resources from the state, and this is happening across the nation, we're having to be more strategic and purposeful about creating experiences and resources for our alumni of color, because what we're doing, what we have done to date, we know we won't be able to do in the next 5, 10 years. So in some ways we're behind the 8 ball, but in a lot of ways that's a good thing, because it's an untapped well.
There are a number of philosophies that undergird UW-Madison. One you hear all the time is the Wisconsin idea by Van Heist, right? The boundaries of the university, the boundaries of the state, and now it's the nation and the world, right? But there's another quote that I love that nobody ever really repeats by Van Heist, and he says he would not rest until the benevolence of the university reached all the homes in the state of Wisconsin.
Of all the things that we do here, we bring in a lot of federal research dollars. There's a game tomorrow that the football team is likely going to win, and the list can go on. But there's nothing more important that we will do at this university than create amazing alumni who will contribute in ways that will go well above and beyond those indicators that we are judged by.